What it is, what it does, what it is, what it was. It's your boy Lean Trucker, back with another. Today's video is a little different for me. Actually, it's a lot different. Didn't mind doing it. It was something that a supporter asked me to do. But anyway, I'm usually talking about fitness or own authority, have your own truck, something like that. But it was cool, what I mean? Give a little backdrop from my story. For those of you who are new or old, appreciate you for taking your time out to watch because you could have been doing anything in the world. Appreciate you for giving me about 10-15 minutes of your time. If you make it that far, I appreciate that. But yeah, if you haven't subscribe, like, share, comment down below. That's how I got to this video. Anything you'd like to see moving forward. The last thing I say on this little part is that you just listen to the video just to give you something visually to watch. I included my workouts, my last two or three workouts, that I done. One was today, another one was 2 days ago, and another one was probably a few days before that. I typically work out 3 times a week, 4 times. Try to be active every day, at least one day for a rest break, whatever. But anyway, let's get into the video.
Why you sleeping on us? Why you sleeping on us? No cap, we gon' have to make them believe us. Yeah, wake up, yeah, wake up, sleep on us. Wake up, yeah, wake up, yeah.
So as promised, guys, when I mentioned if there's any topic that you would want to know, comment down below or hit me on my social media, Facebook, Lean Trucker 2020, or Instagram, The Lean Trucker. Just DM me however you want to do it, and let me know what videos you want to see, and I will discuss the subject. So in this case, I've been asked this question like a few times, but it was more it's randomly, like when I first started my channel. But basically, I've been asked what to expect in truck driving school. It would never been a topic for me, naturally, because I've been so far removed from it. For those of you who are new to my channel, I've been driving for 16 years now, since 2004. So, yeah, it's been quite a long time since I've been through truck driving school. I'm not sure if how much of it has changed, but I will talk about the money part of it. Some of the things that I remember, I'm going to go through my experience, what I remember going through, what I was told in my experience in truck driving school. So I would start with the cost. The cost I was told when I was calling around different places, if I wanted to go out of pocket, it was going to cost me $5,000. Yes, indeed. And they will put you on this glorious payment plan. And that, I mean, when you're looking at it holistically, it's from 50,000 feet, so to speak. It's actually not that bad. What career could you get into when you going to school? It's only costs you $5,000, especially in the country that we live in the U.S. of A. Some people are paying $100,000. And then you could come out of truck driving school and you get out there on the road and you could be making how much I say, maybe at least about 40 grand a year. So actually, compared to what you're getting out of it, the limited time you're doing, it's actually not that bad. But $5,000, in the limited amount of time you in school, I just mentioned the good part, but it's kind of like, man, you charging me like $1,200 a week, or something like that. But anyway, I did not pay that. I went to I'm based here out of the DFW, Dallas, Texas area, and I went through TWC, which is Texas Workforce Commission. They had a program that I'm told still exists today. I couldn't tell you, called the WIA program. I'm assuming that it probably exists in other states nationwide, so you guys check into it. I don't remember what it stood for. Excuse me. I don't remember what it stood for, but basically I applied. All I had to do, I went to a class where they tried to discourage you to not go through this program because the word on occurred. All right, the person who told me this, where I got the information from, they said that as long as you complete what they tell you to complete, they have to pay for your program. It was more than trucking. That's the one that I was specifically interested in. So all I had to do was look for a job. I think it was 3 times a week. I don't know if it was by the hours or how many times you went, and you had to show up every week, and you would talk to I guess a TWC representative, and they would kind of ask you how the job search was going, and so on. Had to do that for, I believe it was either 6 or 8 weeks. Okay, so frankly, I was truly up there trying to look for a job. At that time, you go up there, you can get on a computer. I didn't have one at home, and there was different job searches that you could just go through and you apply. And so I was actually truly looking for a job. I was 21 years old at this time. I was going to Walmart, just different places, and it was like halfway through where it kind of hit me. I'm like, because before this, I was kind of my mindset of whichever come first. If I get a job, cool. Because at that point, my daughter was born. Actually, she wasn't born when I was when I was looking for a job. Their mother, because my son, he was born already. He was like a year and a half, 2 years tops. Um, at this time, my daughter was on the way, and I needed money. It didn't matter, whichever came first, the job or the end of the program. About halfway through, I was like, man, screw this. Like, why go get a job at this time? Usually, it was paying out $8 an hour for the most part, most places. Um, Minimum wage at this point was like $4 and something an hour. So, at this point, I was like, hey man, forget it. I will. I don't want a job no more. So, just straight up, I don't remember what I was doing anymore. I just decided I'm just gonna put some stuff down there because they wasn't checking it. The lady was just talking to me, asking me how my son was and stuff like that. So I just played the game and say, she don't care, I don't care. So I just pretty much say, hey, everything's going fine. Finish the program. That's exactly what happened. They told me the school I can go to. I don't know if it was schools or school, but the one I ended up going to was a school south of Dallas, not far, maybe 10 miles south of Dallas, in Ferris. No, Palmer, Texas. And that school no longer exists, by the way. But that school was 16 days. I see most trucking schools now are 3 or 4 weeks, roughly 4 weeks. That one was 16 days. And my experience in it was relatively simple. It was the first week, it was 6 a.m. Not the first week, the entire time. It was 6 a.m. to 5 p.m. You were literally there the whole day. And the first week, I think 7 days, it was just this. It was a white instructor, older gentleman, used to drive, now became an instructor. He was just talking. He was not helping us one bit. He would tell us to study, study the book, the material that you would get from the driver's license place. You get the study guide. He would just tell us study the study guide, whether we was in there in class, when we went home to our room or wherever, depending on if you went to a room or if you went to the house. But yeah, study. He talked about different over the road stories. You don't want to go to New York because of this, and people getting robbed. It's just a bunch of mountains, going up and down the mountains. Being careful, smoking your brakes. He was more just talking about his experience over the road as opposed to, what we was actually doing, or needed to know, like help us for that. So after the first week, 5 to 7 days, we got on the track. They had a track where you can just drive where you're driving, where you can start slow, almost like a track and field track. And yeah, you just start there and you're learning how to shift. You're going very slow, second gear, just learning how to go around, and eventually, of course, that graduates, you pick up speed. I don't think we went no more than about the 6 or 7 gear tops. Yeah, you would do that. We learn how to back up, parallel park, the whole parking. Oh, also learn how to do the turns. That was about the next 3 or 4 days. You had like 3 or 4 people in the truck with you, including the instructor, of course, and a few other your students, your peers. And you did that. And then once they figured that you had that, after about 3 or 4 days, because again, we're starting early. At this point, we're going straight to the track. So you figure it out rather quickly. And then we was get on the freeway. We was going on the frontage road, then we go on the freeway, then we actually go into town, which is very nerve wracking. Get on the freeway was terrifying. I remember saying out loud to the guys, and I was like, "Hey, man, I don't know how these fools be driving down the road, eating, smoking cigarettes. When I tell y'all, within 3 weeks, on my own, I was driving down. I don't smoke, but yeah, I was eating. But yeah, that was funny to me. But anyway, yeah, we went into the city, had to make those turns. Practice what you're preaching out here, and that was it. We did that maybe 5 days straight, as far as that progression. And then we went to the driver's license place. Um, Passed the test. You went and take the test. How many ever times you have to take it? You fail it today, you go back tomorrow, kind of deal. But yeah, you pass the test. And then of course you get your driving side. They of course with their equipment. You pass that test. They just have you do the exact thing that I just told you guys. Just go on the frontage road, get on the freeway a little bit, and then they take you to this little frontage road and have you back in parallel park to some cones. You do that, you got your license. That was it. And I was so thrilled that I did not pay $5,000 to get that. There were other options. You had options like go to Swift at that time, CR England. There's a couple other places out there. I'm sure they still do it now. Knight, I believe. Where Stevens, that's another one. Stevens is based actually right out here in Dallas. But yeah, they will pay for it. They will gladly pay for it. Same thing, $5,000 from what I remember. The only difference is you have to contractually work for them. One more thing, let me get back real quick, then I get to that. Yeah, in school, like the last few days, like 4 or 5 days, they will have a few companies come and basically to recruit you. Essentially guaranteeing you a job if you got your license. It's guaranteed. So as soon as I graduated, so to speak, and got my license, I went straight to this over-the-road company called Central Refrigerated, which I don't know if they exist now. They was based out of Salt Lake City, Utah, and that's where I started at. But back to these other schools that they will pay you. Oh, I'm sorry, they will pay for the class, the schooling. They will not pay you to do that. But yeah, you got to work for them. And the downside of that, from what I was told, I believe is no different, is that of course they're gonna take money out your check until they get their money back, the $5,000. But on top of that, the biggest one is you have to do it for a minimum of a year before you clear it. If you quit or don't complete your year, they will take their $5,000 back or put in your credit report or something like that. And then I've heard some of them like 2 years. I don't know if that's true or not. But yeah, to me, that's really not the way you want to go. I would rather take out a loan, guys, and do that, and then be forced to work for them. They're gonna come back and get your money, or unless you don't care about your credit, which I highly recommend you care about your credit. And then one last thing before I wrap this part up is that being with them, I was told that those kind of companies that pay for your school, they will send you all the places that the vets do not go to. And I definitely believe this because I experienced this with local jobs. I became a local trucker. After about 6 months, I was local. That's exactly what they did on the local scene, so I believe it. They would send you places where the vets be like, no, I'm not going there. Guess what? They're going to send a rookie. You learn why the vets are not going there. So not only are they going to be paying you, you're going to start off low on the totem pole. You're going to owe that money. You have to work for them for a year. And then on top of that, they will be sending you places that no one else wants to go. That do not sound like a situation that I would have liked to be in, and I won't recommend to you guys. But anyway, that's it, guys. I'm going to wrap this part up here. Just wanted to go ahead and share my experience, and hopefully you guys got somebody who is interested in looking to get into trucking.
Actually, kind of too young, y'all.
That's it. Keep it in mind. Stay on the grind, one day at a time. Salute.